followed by Steve Copping in the ex-supercar Holden Commodore VZ that did have a spin, so recovered quite well to get where he did. Jason Buskin, another of the marked cars. Chris Muscat, who we mentioned, had that little spin, is out of position 14 in the RX-7. And we've got Lisa Montgomery in the second of the marked cars on position 15. Rolling start coming up, about to go. And if there's anything like yesterday's race, it'll be absolutely fantastic. Grant Dillman, I think, went a little bit early, but then pulled back into position. In the meantime, Ricciardello had the lead for a moment, but Randall's got down the inside of him, takes it away from him, and we can see these two already starting to get away. And Randall had some drive issues going up the hill. He's on the inside, and it's hectic stuff as we see the number 77 Nissan of Barton go off at turn 2. Fortunately, he's well off the track, so we might be able to continue without any dramas. Lacey in third, Tomasi fourth, Woodman up to fifth, Chetton sixth. And then we've got Robertson and Dillman, the next two. Reed, Bradford trying to go under Reed at turn, and another spinner just behind him, and that's Muscat again. Going around, you think he'd have got it right after the warm-up lap.
Well, isn't the warm-up lap a chance just check all your racing lines and everything? He practiced it on the warm-up lap, and now he's done it for real in race conditions.
To be fair, he probably he was checked up a little bit, had really no options. Battle going on back in the pack as we see Dillman and Robertson duking it out as they go down past the start-finish line. That's 7th and 8th, so all sorts of battles going on. In the meantime, it's the top three up there are pretty evenly matched, with Randall just ahead of Ricciardello and Lacey just behind them as well.
Stephen Lacey doing a good job to stay with this front pair at the moment, but keep in mind that because he's one of the state runners, he's on the Kumo control tyres. All of the National Series runners are using the Hancock control tyres, and it has been observed that the Kumo tyres do come on a bit more quickly compared to the Hancocks. The Hancocks better later on in the race.
Yeah, still this dice we're seeing on the live stream from Glenline TV is between the two Trans Am spec cars, the Mustang of Reed and the Camaro of Bradford. And Bradford now lines him up as they go down to turn 10 and gets that job done. So that elevates him up one more position. Can he hold on to it though? Because Reed tries to go down the inside. He hasn't got the straight line performance in the Ford Mustang as opposed to the Chev-powered car.
And we've had a lead change. Ricciardello ahead of Tom Randall. So got the job done at turn number 2 that time around. So the red Alpha goes back to the front.
Because coming into this round, Ricciardello leads the series. Had the year off last year. Had a hand operation. Did a bit more work on the car after winning his 10th championship, 10th title. And now back strong. Didn't expect to win the first round, but did because a number of the top players had dramas.
Oh, and it was Joseph Said that got into the side of Tony Barton on the exit of turn 2. We're just watching a replay of that, and that was the reason that Barton ended up out in the grass on the inside.
I think Randall might have some sort of dramas. He's doing a lot of weaving, not to stop anyone going past, but whether he can't get the temperature in the tyres, that could be an issue because Lacey's right on the back of him now looking for a way past. And you can see the car just doesn't look comfortable, does it? It's sort of jumping all over the place, and it could be grip related. Right went down on too high pressures to start the race. So than expected. Gets away a little bit as they go down the hill, and maybe he's just waiting for those tyres to come on so he can relaunch an attack on Ricciardello before this race finishes.
Or it could be the opposite problem, that maybe the tyre pressures are a bit too low and he's finding it a bit cold, as we see wheels being dropped off out of turn 9.
That was Ricciardello that just dropped the left rear off. No harm done, I don't think. Fastest lap for the race at the moment is Ricciardello. And he goes faster again despite having that little wheel off the circuit at turn 9.
Randall didn't lose any time to him though, both of them doing 58.3 second lap times. Stephen Lacey just starting to lose touch with those two now as those Kumo tyres start to lose their initial performance advantage. And Shane Woodman has an off-track excursion at turn 2 in his BMW M3 GTR. That'll allow Birrell Seaton to get past heading up the hill.
Birrell Seaton is the current title holder National Series. Won it last year in that Chev Camaro. Had a very difficult opening round, but so far has bagged some solid points. Race 1 and at race 2. We've seen Shane Bradford down the inside, attempt to go down the inside of Michael Robertson. Wasn't quite on. Try and line him up out of this corner to try and get that job done. Robertson Monaro's been around for a couple of years now. Been a very strong performer. Here we look back at the Division 3 cars, battling it out. The 2 Holden Commodores.
John Spiteri in the Mitsubishi Evo. I bumped into Trevor Spiteri at one of the local establishments in Goulburn last night, and he was suggesting that they would have a bit more of a relaxed day today. Yesterday they had to try and do a Formula 1 spec tyre change in between the sports sedan and the improved production race, just to try and get that car out onto the track because it is on double duty this weekend. John running it in the sports sedans, Trevor running it in the over 2 litre improved production races. As Shane Bradford continues to probe on the back of Michael Robertson, and just ahead of those two, the Falcon of Grant Dorman, the car that was formerly run by Grant Dorman's late father-in-law, Jeff Brown. It's now been taken over by Grant and Emma Dorman, who are continuing to develop that car. Grant previously raced a Commodore in the New South Wales Sports Sedan Championship. Fastest lap of the race for Thomas Randall, so he's got the margin back down to 0.7 of a second. And once again, our race leaders find themselves having to negotiate their way through lap traffic, and that proved to be decisive in the outcome of yesterday's race because it created an overtaking opportunity for Thomas Randall, which he was able to make stick on Tony Ricciardello.
Yeah, this battle going on further back. This is a battle we're looking at for 7th, 8th and 9th positions. Oh, it's on again. We've got this battle with lap traffic causing some headaches for Ricciardello out in front, but he gets it done, manages to hold position.
He'll be thinking to himself, "Oh, not this again."
And Randall actually does get through. So the problem for Ricciardello is he's the trailblazer. He's the one that first comes across them. If they're not aware of it, then he can be seriously balked, as we see in that situation. The beauty about it for anyone following, they know that there's other cars that will be coming through and they'll be on the lookout for them. Bradford tried to go down the inside of Robertson there at turn 10. I think there might have been a little touch between those two coming through the corner there, but Robertson manages to hold that spot.
And they've both got past Grant Dorman, so Dorman must have made a mistake unsighted by us because he's fallen back to 8th position.
Go back to our race leader, Ricciardello just eases away again, so I think at this stage that Randall must be sweating on the lap traffic coming up so they can get in a position where he may challenge for the race lead. At the moment that gap is probably out to about half a second.
Battle on for 3rd position here between Stephen Lacey and Stephen Tomasi. So Lacey's tyres must be past their best. He's having to start defending. Drives down the inside of the circuit at turn 10, and we've had a big spin. We just caught it there at the back of the shot, or a big lock-up, I think it was, and that might have been Joseph Said, who's involved in a battle at the moment with Lacey Montgomery.
And he has a lose out at turn 3.
Uh-oh. Oh.
What coming back onto the track, it's just allowed our race leaders to get clear. In the meantime, it looks like position 3 has changed hands as well, with Tomasi getting through on Lacey. And the battle still continues with Ricciardello and lap traffic. I was going to say with the second place car it isn't. It's lap traffic he's having to deal with. But yeah. Randall was the one that nearly came unstuck when Josette had that off at turn 3. That's
pretty much cost Thomas Randall his chance of challenging for victory, you would have to say, because they had to jump hard on the anchors when Josette rotated between turns 3 and 4.
We've got 3 laps to go at the moment. The gap is 2 seconds between Ricciardello and Randall. And another one, Woodman off again out of turn 9 this time, but fortunately he doesn't lose any position. Further back we've got 2 of the New South Wales State guys going hard at it in Scott Reed and Simon Copping in their respective Trans Am Ford Mustang and ex-supercar Holden Commodore PZ. Very different configured cars, but performance-wise very similar. And one of the Mark car V8s is off at turn 7.
Turn 8, yeah, that's Jason Busk there running off the circuit at the fishhook.
All sorts of action going on here, thick and fast throughout the field. Give you a rundown of where they are now. We've got Marston coming up on lap traffic as well, but he's well clear of Lacey. So Lacey's in 4th, Beryl Chester's in 5th. Woodman still holds 6th despite running off the track twice. And we've got Robertson and Bradford having that good dice. They're dicing for 7th and 8th. Dooman in 9th. Reed and Copley having their dice. That's going to decide who gets into the top 10. Then we've got the first of the marked cars will be Jeff Tanton in 12th position. Colin Smith, who we've seen have a luge yesterday and park on the infield out of turn 2. Had some bent steering dramas with that car. As we see Bradford now trying to slip down the inside of Robertson at turn 2. Having trouble getting past lap cars, and Bradford finally does it. Gets the job done between turns 2 and 3.
Oh, and that Datsun that they were lapping just goes sailing off the road at turn 3 as well. That's Mantikos there in the number 85 car.
Yeah, that's very old school sports sedan. If you're ever likely to see one, that's what they used to look like back in the day.
And just caught out of the corner of my eye there, Tony Ricciardello was still pushing on. He just had an almighty brake lock up.
Well, that was the car that had the one you called before, just before Joe Sen went off.
We are on the final lap, and you only get one new set of tyres for the weekend, so it'll be interesting to see which tyres Ricciardello has left for the third and final race, which
I'd
is worth the most points.
On the fact that he would have a new set for race 3. That's why he's probably not too perturbed. As we see one of the Division 3 Commodores racing the grass on the outside of turn 9.
Oh, a bit of debris on the racetrack as well that's just been hit there by the Colin Smith Holden Monaro, which was a retirement yesterday, but the checkered flag is coming out this time around, and it's going to be 1-1 this weekend between Tony Ricciardello and Thomas Randall. 1 second the final margin between those two cars at the finish.
Wakefield Park Track Days. These track days provide opportunities for motoring enthusiasts to test the capabilities of their vehicles under controlled conditions on Wakefield Park's track. It's open to all types of cars, and sessions include open wheelers, race cars, street cars, supercarts, and driver training is available. There's heaps of amenities on site for a great day out, and group bookings are available. Head to the Wakefield Park website for more information.
Facebook isn't the only place that you can support Australian grassroots motorsport with Blendline TV. To see more real race cars, more live events, and more of the racing you love, subscribe to the Blendline TV YouTube channel, sign up to our mailing list, or bookmark and subscribe to our website at blendline.tv. Thanks for continuing to support grassroots motorsport with Blendline TV.
Here we are back at Wakefield Park for race 1 of the opening round of the Precision International National Sports Sedan Series, and I have Paul Boschert with me, with apologies to your mum if I've got it wrong in the past, but Paul's not running this weekend. They're waiting on bits and pieces from the States to arrive on our shores to get his Corvette back on track. So in the meantime, welcome Paul. It's great to have you here.
Thanks, Gary. It's a great afternoon to go sports sedan racing. I wish I wasn't standing beside you, but red hot field today. I think we're in for a good one.
Yeah, and you can tell by the number of people here that they've been aware of it, because this is probably the best crowd we've seen at a state level race meeting here just out of Goulburn for quite some time, and you can hear them all firing up, getting ready for this first race. It is scheduled to go over 15 laps. Whether we get that far or not, we've had some issues today with the fog stopping things early, and a couple of cars have had some issues as well, which you might be able to enlighten us on. I believe Billy Chetton couldn't start his. We're not sure if he's managed to get it going or not. Certainly they had their drums, and there's a couple others.
Yeah, definitely. So just after qualifying, I went down to pit lane, had to talk to a few of the boys. Billy was definitely struggling to get it fired up. They were contacting people left, right and centre around Australia trying to pitch in. I know that Woodman had trouble with sticking throttle, so they believe they've got that fixed. He didn't get a lap done. Nick Smith, obviously their car's still well and truly apart. We hope to see them back out tomorrow morning. They'll be quick, especially off the back.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be in their way. And Shane Bradford with the Camaro Trans Am, they had some power steering issues. They're cutting in and out occasionally, which is not nice when you're going down to the fish hook here and all of a sudden you haven't got power steering. No,
look, everything happens in a great big hurry in these cars, and you don't get much notice. So, with a bit of
it's certainly a great field heading out on track. Just a quick rundown. Of course, rolling starts. They'll go out, they'll do a lap, they'll form up behind a safety car, then go another lap and a rolling start. But Tom Randall's was fastest in qualifying. Andre Heimgartner, it sounded like a supercar field here the way we're going.
Oh, it does. They've come up to take on the big boys this week. They'll go back down a level in the coming weeks.
And then we've got Steve Tomasi on the inside of the second row. Brad Shields, of course, he's the first non-V8 in the field with that 13B turbocharged rotary with paddle shift and everything.
Yeah,
and
very much
great job with that car.
Very much a class steerer too.
Steve Lacey.
Yep.
Now those two, Shields and Lacey, are the best of New South Wales competitors. They're currently in 4th and 5th position. Then we've got Michael Robertson up in his replenished, I guess, Holden Monaro. It's now black instead of yellow, and he thought, well, I'll be great here because there was 4 yellow cars last year, so I'll be great here. Obviously, black is the new white.
Yes.
He's in the next position. Stuart Inwood, who came out of the second group and has picked up quite a few spots. He's been very, consistent.
Yeah, consistent. Consistent right across the board, and he'll definitely put pressure on in that mid-pack.
Yeah, Simon Copping, who's been out for quite a while, he's now back and running that ex-Perkins Engineering car.
Yeah, a bit of health issues. Good to see him back in the seat.
Yeah, Shane Bradford, of course, we alluded to with a power steering issue. Then Tim Tritton in the Honda Prelude. Now, we've seen Tim running around in Trans Am or TA2.
Yep.
Is likes his sports sedans, got this Honda Prelude that came on the market, so he bought it.
Yep, good car.
And it's a good car. Chris Jackson, of course.
Always fast.
Dan Nolan. I don't know a lot about Dan Nolan. I haven't seen a lot of him
surprisingly quick this morning. Very quick.
RX-7, yeah.
Very quick.
Scott Cameron, of course, who's
highly experienced across a lot of categories.
Run utes
and he will be fast over time. He's got a good car and he's a good steerer.
Phil Ryan, best of the Division 2 cars, I guess you'd say, and that's him with the LS motor. Colin Smith, down from Queensland.
Yep, he'll move forward, Colin, for sure.
Yeah, Harwood, Andy Brown, another of the Trans Am cars, of course.
Yeah, another one. I was talking to Andy. He was just trying to get his head around the track more than anything today.
I don't think he's raced here before, has he?
No, I don't believe so.
Theo Cambulis in that Space Throne Division 3 car, the Commodore.
Yep.
Then, of course, we've got Graham Smith, Josh Pillars, David Aiken, the Kumo tyres man, of course.
Yep.
Can't forget him.
Fast tyre man.
Shane Woodman, we know, had problems. Billy Chetton and and Nick Smith. Hopefully those guys will actually get out there. We're not so sure how they're travelling quite at the moment. We'd be like the viewers. We'll be sitting here wondering and watching, and just to see where it all ends up.
Yeah, I think the one to look at the moment. Obviously, the two guys up the front will be a class act. Tomasi's not going to let them go away. Shields and Lacey, Robbo, they'll all be there or thereabouts. Definitely applying pressure. But Woodman off the back, that'll be the one that'll be really nice to watch.
Yeah, well, he's done a lot of work on that car. They've refreshed the engine, and it looks good in those BMW type colours too, the black with the blue and the red.
Well, you'd like to think a sign rider can make his car look good.
Yeah. Okay, here they are. Start 15 lap scheduled distance. Randall on pole. Heimgartner alongside him. Tomasi in behind him. They're the big three. Brad Shields is there to annoy him as much as possible.
He will be quick.
And away they go. And it's Randall who's in front there. We see Brad Shields already trying to get ahead of Lacey as they go up the hill the first time. And the rest of the field streams through. So good news is that everyone got through turns 1 and 2 without any sort of dramas at all. But it's Tom Randall who leads the way. I know his dad was very coy this morning. He said no one will catch that Aston Martin with Andre in it, but I think he was just playing a little bit of the mind games at that stage.
I think they were sandbagging, mate.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I think Tom will be very, very strong on cold tyres. Heimgartner doesn't have that experience in this category on cold tyres. Obviously highly experienced in his driving, but Tom's got a clear advantage there in the early laps.
Yeah, well, Ned's driver's come off victory at his last meeting that he went to, so he certainly knows his way around. And Brad looks like his tyres haven't come anywhere near temperature. Got a little bit scurry going through turn 10 on that occasion. So well lap down, it's Randall in front, Heimgartner second, Tomasi in third. Then we've got this dice for fourth, the New South Wales Kumo Tyres Championship front runners at this stage with Brad Shields and Steve Lacey in there battling it out with Michael Robertson in behind them as well. So Robbo sort of was a little bit, how you put a bit off put by the cold temperatures here this morning. I told him he brought the weather with him, but he didn't believe that. But it's certainly lined up a beautiful day here in the outskirts of Goulburn, basically.
Yeah, I think also speaking to Lacey this morning, they were putting a new set of boots on, I think, for tomorrow. So I think he's still running around on qualifying tyres.
Well, he actually went out on used tyres because you only get 2 spares for the weekend, and they didn't put their qualifiers on until this race. And as I think you alluded to before, that you really want your good set for first race tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow morning, colder conditions, you hope that there's a little bit of track temperature, and the cars make good horsepower and they're very quick with good aero. So
we see that Brad Shields has actually gapped Steve Lacey and Michael Robertson looking for a way past, and I think if he does get that advantage, and you know yourself, you've raced here, that getting past is the hardest part. Once you're in front, you can actually sort of get your mindset correctly and know when to push.
Yeah, and a lot of these cars, although they come from a completely different background, the controlling point really is the tyre, Gary, and they've got good horsepower right across the board, but passing here, and especially up over the top, it's a one-lane track. You've got to really set yourself up to pass, and it sometimes takes 2 or 3 laps to make that setup and put a pass in position.
Yeah, you've got to be really committed at turn 3 to try and affect it at 4 and 5. Yes. We're currently watching Trenton, Inwood, Brown all battling it out, and there's Nolan in behind him in that RX-7 we were talking about earlier. Very quick car.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He's clearly done some refurbishments and rebuilds, and he's pedaling very, very well to be ahead of Simon Copping, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, Copping, we know that has battled here with Brad Shields in the past when they had their 20B engine in.
I see the Hondas just had a bit of an off, Gary, coming out of 2. Yeah. So sometimes you can get caught out wide, and it's quite a big drop off on the ripple strip on the outside there. So a bit of understeer most probably coming out of 2.
That's allowed the others ahead of him just to move. It looks like we don't have the ones we thought wouldn't start. Bradford's not out there. Fitzgerald, that's John Fitzgerald. They brought that car back on the quick lift from the earlier session with apparently it's locked up in the rear. It wouldn't roll even off the back of the quick lift. And Billy Chapman not there either, so obviously got issues at this stage. Let's hopefully we might see him tomorrow.
Yeah. We're seeing Chris here. Chris Jackson put a lot of pressure on the back of Inwood. Chris wasn't feeling the best. They pulled out during the week, but everything came good yesterday. And he said, well, I'm going to go for a drive, but he was struggling to feel his right foot this morning, so he might be having a little bit of trouble controlling both the brake and the accelerator, as we see Lacey have a bit of an off there by the look of that over the top.
Well, it's a 2.7 second gap between first and second, and Randall's done a 56.6.
Oh, mate, that's hauling the mail, that's for sure.
That's a quick lap.
Yes.
And we've already we're on lap 6 now, so time flies when these cars are out there. They're going quick at the moment, and still this battle going on now with Trenton having that little bit of an off before, and Nolan's got right into the action there with him.
Yeah, and you can see Simon working his way up as well, and Scott Cameron, who he's just finding his feet in this car. But
the car's been sitting in a shed for quite a number of years, and it's got an older spec Chev motor in it. It doesn't have the newer ones that we see in all the front-running cars.
But a spectacular looking car too.
It is. We just had one off at the back there. Looks like that was Dave Aiken in the BMW. That's LS powered now as well.
Yeah, that's got quite good horsepower now. I think he blew the doors off it last time out, if I remember rightly.
Basically it did, yeah. One door came off it, or the skin thereof. Of course, Precision International is backing the National Championship. Kumo Tyres is backing the State Championship. And this round, of course, brought to you by Astor Hotel in Goulburn. And because it is the place where you'll see a lot of race teams either staying or dining and whining or whatever the case may be. Sports sedans basically call it home when they're not at a racetrack.
Yep.
There's a Cameron car, we've just seen it go through. Colin Smith down from Queensland. Monaro's very different from Robbo's. The engine is right back next to the driver in that car, whereas Robbo's is basically out where it should be, out in the front somewhere.
Yep.
Andy Brown, of course, in the Camaro.
And Woodman coming through now, so he's starting to work his way through the pack. He'll make inroads to most probably another 2 or 3 positions, and then he'll find himself right in amongst with the quick boys, and he won't be so dominating through that middle section.
Yeah, he just put the pass on Phil Ryan, who's our leading Division 2. Now, divisions are worked out on lap time, so that's why we see, that's why we call them Division 1, 2 and 3.
Well, we've got Heingardner backwards into the last turn there, Gary, by the look of it.
He's had he's come off the track there. Just should be able to get going. It's a matter of waiting for a clear bit of space to get back on track.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to see whether he's actually got it fired up or whether it's stalled. Just trying to see any indication of flame or something like that it actually has life. But at this point in time, he's must probably go to a lap down very, very quickly.
Well, the problem is if it stays there, it'll induce a safety car. No, he's got it going, so he's back out and should be running. But unfortunately...
Well, he's just been lapped, I believe. Yes, that's Thomas coming through now, so... They're a bit of a different beast, it'll take him a little bit to get his head around it. A lot of supercar drivers over time have had a taste of sports sedans. I think they love it. It's that raw power.
Well, he certainly did. We talked to him earlier. We talked how he spoke of the horsepower, how much horsepower it's got. That's the thing. Oh, another one in. I think he just kicked up a bit of dirt out of turn 9. It's got it back.
Yep.
And this is the dice between Lacey and Robertson.
Yeah, this will be a good one down the straight. I mean, they'll pull most probably 240, 245 k an hour into turn 1, door handle to door handle. So,
and the
nice
Monaro driver gets through and takes that position away. So that moves Robertson up to position 4. So the order at the moment: Randall leads, Tomasi second, then it's Shields, followed by Robertson, as we just seen. Then it's Lacey, Inwood, Jackson, Tritton, Nolan, and Cameron in 10th spot. Colin Smith just outside the top 10 in 11th and Copping in 12th position.
Yeah, we've got Lacey here all over Robbo, so it looks like that Lacey has a really good setup, and he's very intimate with the track here. Ultimately, he's turned a lot of laps here. Robbo, coming from Victoria, would not have turned anywhere near as much laps, so we've got very evenly matched cars, and Lacey's putting a lot of pressure on him right now.
And he's coming back down the inside of him down at turn 10. Will he get the spot back? They go side by side. Great deal of respect between the two of them. Come out of that final corner and head down the straight. And now, so that's interesting that Lacey would have the speed down the back straight, and Robbo has the speed on the front straight.
Yeah, I think he just sets him well up out of the fish hook and that, and he's able to get the power down nicely. Robbo's never lacked grunt, that's for sure. And now lap traffic's clearly going to play a part in the order that these two boys finish in.
Yeah, well, that's a problem that we wished for years, to have lap traffic in sports sedans. Now we've got it and everyone's cursing it.
Yeah, look, sometimes you look up and you just dread it. You look down your nose and think, oh, this isn't going to be great because you're in a position of defending. But when you're attacking, you look up and you see that lap car ahead, you pray for it to come at the right spot. So
this is a fantastic dice, and Steve's obviously doing a better job of getting through turn 9, and that is a particularly hard corner to get right, isn't it? Because it can cost you speed onto the back straight.
Yeah, it's one that you can tend to oversteer a lot out, especially in these cars. And if you get it all wrong, you can be crossed up and lose 2-3 car lengths down the back straight, and it's hard to regain.
So he manages to hold on to it, but Steve's sticking with him, and maybe got a better run out of turn 2 on that occasion. But I think Robbo's just got a little bit of a power advantage, and that's probably what helped him stay out in front. But these are the series of corners where you can make or break it if you're committed enough, and you can hang to the outside going through 3, you're on the inside for 4 and 5, and that can be critical.
Yeah, and it's also a case of building pressure too. So even though Steve's not being able to put any real moves on up there, what it means is he's looking at his mirrors, he's trying to cover his mirrors, he's starting to second guess. Yeah. So as you can see here, running down that back straight, he'll show the nose, he'll just create pressure. And as I said before, sometimes it takes 2 or 3 laps to set up a guy to make a pass here at Wakefield.
Yeah, and I think he got a little bit taily out of 9 on that occasion and couldn't do what he did a couple of laps beforehand and rage up on the inside of the Monaro. Yep. More dicing going on back in the field. That's Inwood, the next one. Jackson follows him through. So the lead gap at the moment is 8.8 seconds. Tom Randall running away with it at this stage.
Yeah, look, he's not the kind of guy that makes a mistake either. So he'll be running to a time now, running to a gap. And Shields is exactly the same. Tomasi, all of those guys, highly experienced. They'll now pretty well set a gap, maintain that, and try and look after the car and tyres for tomorrow as well.
Well, it's a long haul as well. I'm not sure if Tom's doing the whole series or not. I know Steve Tomasi will be, and it certainly puts him in a good spot for their ensuring round. So I think they're up at Morgan Park for their next round in late June. Yep. And you'd expect that on a track like that, a little bit similar to here, probably a little bit faster than what we have here. That's Morgan Park. Lacey back down the inside. Is he not quite close enough where we get that false illusion where they look as though he's alongside him.
Yep. And coming out of here, there's a massive bump in these cars. You don't notice it and you don't see it as a spectator, but as a driver, you're actually hanging on. The car wants to spit you out halfway up that straight. It seems to be mid-gear, and there's a massive bump. It brings the rear suspension, which is very, very stiff, into play. And a lot of times you can see cars in cold tyres getting spat out where most cars normally wouldn't here.
Yeah, and you also have the issue of that kink, which is they call turn 1. Yep. Do you brake before it, during it, or after it? If you're braking after it, you're probably not going to make turn 2. No,
look, but you've got to have your big boy pants on too, so you've got to get down there and commit, and without over committing and wrecking that run up the back straight. So it's a fine line between plucking off too much and not having enough of a go and creating a opportunity for your opposition.
Steve actually went very wide, took a very late entry into turn 10 on that occasion to try and get the inside run down the straight. Didn't quite figure out for him, but it got him closer. So that is the optimum line if you're on your own, is to take that wide entry.
Correct. Well, 10. There you go. I've just pointed out exactly what I was talking about before, where a bit of overcommitment, a big bump there, or as we've also got Cameron off, but exactly where I said is a massive bump, and you can have that oversteer. Yeah. Clearly.
That's what's happened there.
Yeah, clearly shown there. So.
Yeah. Lucky for Cameron, I don't think he's lost a spot out of that. He's just putting a lap on a Division 3 car there at the moment, which is the Rod Monahan Commodore.
I mean, you've got those. Also, the top 5 there, although they've run away. The next 5 is quite a competitive group of cars too. They're also pushing all each along. I also noticed that the Honda, the Triton car, that's running a 16-inch front rim, I believe.
And a bigger rear or something. I did notice that as well.
His brakes will be his brakes and tyre will be starting to hurt now with the smaller diameter. So
because there's a lot more accent on the front of the car here than the rear of the car.
Correct. Correct. So, and we've got Thomas here coming through, obviously about to take Cameron.
So coming down to what'll be the fine corner, and he'll probably just let Cameron take the checker flag, or take the flag before him, because he can get that last lap in. But first up win should go to Tom Randall in the sub, well and truly ahead of Steve Tomasi in his Calibra. Will be next one across the line.
Then it should be Shields, Robbo and Lacey. They're still fighting this out. Oh, Lacey looks like he might actually have him here. He's just pushing him wide. Yep. He'll try the crisscross. Hasn't got enough on it. I think Lacey will be good enough here to hold him out. Oh.
Is he going to have a go at him? No, something broke on Lacey's car.
Yes, and he will finish, but that's very disappointing for him, because he did all the hard work. We've got Brown's bonnet coming loose by the look of that, and Inwood filing through with Chris Jackson.
Right, quick rundown through the field. Randall wins from Tomasi in second, Shields in third, Robertson in fourth. Lacey still got a line on the line to take fifth spot. Then it's Stuart Inwood, Chris Jackson, Dan Nolan, Tim Tretton, and the next one should be Scott Cameron. The rest of them are lap down. Andre Heimgartner got back to 11th position. Colin Smith, Shane Woodman in 12th. 13th make that. Then it's Copping. And we go back to Phil Ryan, the best of Division 2. And I think the quickest of Division 3 would be Pillis in position 19. So we had a couple who didn't make it. Graham Smith and Theo Cambulis didn't finish, and the others did start. Well, that's thanks to the Astor Hotel, the first race out of the way. We've got 2 more races going tomorrow. Really looking forward to those. Also, big thanks to Paul for being here, and apologies to his mum for getting the name wrong in the past. And we'll look forward to seeing you later on. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be back with more motor racing shortly. Thanks, Gary.
Wakefield Park Track Days. These track days provide opportunities for motoring enthusiasts to test the capabilities of their vehicles under controlled conditions on Wakefield Park's track. It's open to all types of cars, and sessions include open wheelers, race cars, street cars, supercarts, and driver training is available. There's heaps of amenities on site for a great day out, and group bookings are available. Head to the Wakefield Park website for more information.
Facebook isn't the only place that you can support Australian grassroots motorsport with Blendline TV. To see more real race cars, more live events, and more of the racing you love, subscribe to the Blendline TV YouTube channel, sign up to our mailing list, or bookmark and subscribe to our website at blendline.tv. Thanks for continuing to support grassroots motorsport with Blendline TV.